Okay, hello everybody. If this is working, yes it is. Welcome to I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm very frustrated today. I was actually going to live stream to the new channel that I created, Ryan Recycled, which the whole purpose was to be able to use that channel to just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. But apparently YouTube has a 24-hour waiting period before I can do that, and I thought I had set that up, but I didn't. So here we are on this channel doing what I wanted to do on the other channel. So to anybody who subscribed from my mental health videos, who doesn't care to just see me ramble on, I apologize. You can go ahead and leave, turn the video off, whatever. Get out and do your thing. I'm not here to waste your time. So I don't know, it's 11:46 p.m. where I am at the moment, and it's been a very annoying day for me. A lot of frustration in my life. And yeah, just dealing with life as it comes. But I don't know. What's been on my mind? That's what I wrote. It was going to be what I was going to talk about, right? So what's been on my mind? For me, like daily on my mind is financial issues, and like I have this massive amount of debt, and I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to this. Maybe not everybody, but many of you probably can relate to having this looming cloud of debt over you. This is not the first time in my life that I've had a lot of debt, so I should have learned my lesson the first time around, and I did not. So here I am again. And I'm dealing with debt the best way I know how, which is to work myself to death, to drain any enjoyment out of my life, and to exhaust myself, get myself sick and tired, angry and cranky. So here we are. Again, I'm sure this is very familiar to many of you. So, all right, that occupies a lot of my time, and it affects my mental health, and obviously it frustrates me, and I'm trying to be as proactive as I can about it and keep my head afloat and feel as good as I can about that. But it's not the only thing that's on my mind. How do I explain? I'm a weird person. By the way, Jessica, if you're out there watching, and I don't know that you would be watching this live, although maybe you are, so hey, what's up? Just wanted to say hi to Jessica, who will probably be the perfect person to explain to you how weird I am, because she's fucking weird herself. I am weird. I am not like most people that you would meet. I think deeply about things in a way that most people probably don't, and I think deeply about things across a wide range of subjects. And I play around in my head with different kinds of ideas, and I try to understand things from different perspectives. Maybe that's why some of you out there who've watched my videos find me interesting, or something I've said has hit you in a way that it hasn't hit you when somebody else said it. It's because that's just the kind of person I am. I am like this weird vacuum of space inside of my head where things ping pong and collide with each other, and hopefully something beautiful is born of that. But yeah, throughout my day, while I'm doing the normal things that I'm doing, cleaning, going to work, driving back and forth, and doing the crap that we all do, I squeeze in all that time to think and reflect and wonder about the big questions of the world and wonder about the big questions of life. In a way that most people are either uncomfortable with doing or just don't care to do or whatever. It's like I belong in like ancient Greece or something, or some other civilization, not where I am right now. Although I will say the internet makes things very interesting. Anyway, I'm just going on and on about myself, and that's kind of weird, so let me not do that. I I think a lot about love and relationships, right? That's why I wanted to do a channel based on relationships and love, um, which I am putting off for the time being because I literally just do not have time at all to do that in the way that I want to do it. But I have been trying to understand, like, what is this thing, love? And I'm hesitating right now to talk about it because I actually wanted to do my first video on this Ryan Recycle channel about love and just start talking about it. And now I'm feeling like, well, if I talk about it now, what the hell am I going to talk about when I go back to that channel to do what I wanted to do? So I'm, again, frustrated. But I guess I can dive into it a little bit. Love is something that is very weird to me, especially as I learn more and more about it. I kind of grew up in a very Western society. I grew up here in the United States. And my childhood consisted of fairy tales and Disney and all these, like, wonderful happy ending stories about love. And, that was juxtaposed with my family going through a divorce. And it was very confusing as a child, but it got more confusing as an adult, and I started to experience the things that I thought might be love in my own life. Now I'm at a point where I'm not sure what love is. I'm not sure that love is something I want to be a part of, but I also feel really compelled by the idea of love. I'm recognizing my very Western influence in my understanding and experience of love and questioning how much of that I want to take on as a human being experiencing, life with people in my life. I wonder if I should be in a relationship, or would I be happier single? I mean, right now I'm single, and I can be pretty happy single, actually. I do wonder about the practicalities of love, and can love exist in all situations for all people at all times? We tend to have this vision that love is like this all-encompassing thing, but I wonder how many people would love somebody who's actively trying to kill them, for example. I mean, there's situations where it doesn't seem to make sense. Yeah. And I talk to a lot of people about love and relationships. I get nosy. I ask them, like, what's your relationship been like? How long have you been in that relationship? When did it start? What are your plans? Why do you think you have a good relationship or a bad relationship? And it's really interesting to hear what people say. There's a lot of stuff that people have in common for the good relationships and the bad relationships. Again, a lot of it seems to come from a Western perspective, or maybe more appropriately a Christian perspective or a romantic period perspective, because again, the romantic period was a Western invention, but the romantic period emphasized that emotions and love come center stage and are so important to our lives. And it also emphasized individualism and our freedom to make choices and to have a particular person that we love be the center of our life. Like, this thing is somewhat new in human history, but speaking of history, I was very interested in the history of love and the origin of love. And to get to that history, I did some research and I found a book that was very interesting. I don't have it with me because I lent it out to somebody, but it's called Love, A History. And it literally goes back to, like, history itself is very interesting, and history is something that I think about a lot. But history only goes as far back as we have written records. Before written records, we had just oral speaking, passing down traditions through speaking, maybe art, but before we had writing, we can't really go too far back. We have to make assumptions about what was going on. And love, obviously has been entangled with us since we started writing, but we don't really know what was going on before then. So it's interesting to me because by the time we started writing and recording things down, marriage was an institution already. And marriage in itself was sort of like a contract. I mean, marriage is a contract, it still is a contract, but marriage was much more about securing property, and people were treated as property. It was about securing your land, securing your kingdom in some cases, but it wasn't really about love. It wasn't about like having this passionate feeling for somebody. That may have been a part of it, but you certainly didn't just go out and like date people and find the person that you loved. You were more likely to get raped on the street by tons of people or be killed by somebody randomly. Like, life back then, even though there was the beginnings of civilization, it was very brutal. And the way that we envision love today was certainly not something that people in history, I'm trying to think of what period this was. I'm not well versed in this stuff, I'm still learning, but way back in history, love the way we think of it today was not a thing, and they probably would have laughed at the way that we do love, and thought it was completely ridiculous. So love is something I question a lot. Let's just put it that way. Love is something I question a lot. I question, first of all, do we need to love? Do we need love at all? Now, I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I think, there's people in my life that I like. There's people that I have good feelings for, goodwill towards, that have good feelings for me, goodwill towards me. I have friendships, I've had romantic relationships in my life. I don't think there's anything negative about these things, and I don't think we have to like eliminate them or something. But I do wonder if love is actually like a thing that's important. Is marriage really that important? Can't people, it depends on what we're looking at when we talk about love too. Some people think that love is all about like fostering, having a child and creating offspring and continuing humanity. Some people get very scientific about love. Some people get very religious about love. Some people get very spiritual about love. Some people get artistic about love and emotional, and some people are practical. That's what is so weird and confusing about love to me, is that there are so many ways to look at it, and that's what makes it an interesting topic for me to go and ping pong around in my brain, because I don't know that I ever come up with a good answer for what it is and why we do it and what to do. But I do wonder, do we need to love? Are some people better off in relationships, or some people better off single? Do relationships need to have one person in them? Can they have 2, 3, 4? Can they have 10? Can they have 100? What is the boundary of a relationship? Is a relationship really between two people? If you love your mother and father, is that the same as loving a friend or a teacher or your intimate partner that you go to bed with? Can you have sex with your partner and other people? And is that compatible with a healthy relationship? What is a healthy relationship? I could ask a million questions here, and I don't think there's great answers to all of them. I think there are answers, and I think some answers might feel more satisfying to us than others. But for me, I am still in the place of putting all those questions out there and gathering as many answers as I can. And I'm so fascinated every time I think about these things, because maybe specifically because I can't find an answer. Because I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think I'm ever going to find an answer. But that leaves me in an interesting place to ask myself, what is love for me? What are relationships for me? What do I want? And again, that's a very romantic notion to begin with, to ask, what do I want? That's an individual response. I'm not thinking about what does my nation want? What does my neighborhood want? What does the world want? I'm asking, what do I want? And although I think that's great as growing up in the United States as a United States American, freedom is something. I mean, look at my chosen name here, Ryan Liberty. Freedom is something that feels very important to me, and it's a ideal that I do not believe is 100% attainable, but it is something I find it important to strive for and uphold as something valuable. And so for me, individualizing love feels good and it feels right, and personalizing love feels important. But when I go and ask myself the question in this modern world that we live in, where we can contemplate these things in a million different angles, what is love and what do I want? I'm not sure that I have a perfect answer. I do know that I don't feel that where I am in my circumstances in my life as I exist today, that I am in a space to be in a romantic relationship. What we traditionally think of a romantic relationship, whether that be dating somebody or living with somebody, that does not feel appropriate for me right now. It doesn't feel like it's possible. It doesn't feel like it makes any sense at all. The largest reason of that being that I am not financially secure. I mean, I'm financially secure, but I'm not financially I don't have much freedom because of the financial situation that I'm in, and not having the freedom makes me feel restricted in my ability to make a good decision about a person who I may be spending 10, 15, 20, 30 years of my life with. And even that in itself brings along a whole set of questions of, do I need to choose somebody who I'm going to spend 5 years with, 10 years, 30 years with? What if I want to choose somebody I'm with for 2 years and then I let that person go and I find somebody else? What if I find a group of people that satisfy me in different ways and I kind of mingle and feel my way through those people, and then it kind of swarms into something else? This is the thing about love that is so odd and strange for me. And this is the journey of love that I'm going through, and this is why I want to make a channel dedicated to this, because I find it so incredibly fascinating. And I want other people to think about these questions with me, because although I may come up with my conclusions, other people are going to have their own conclusions. And I'd love to just be a vessel for that questioning and that discussion to continue to happen, because I don't know that we do that very often. I think people from my generation, at least, and I do consider myself to be part of the millennial generation, we had a lot of stuff fed to us, which, most of history, culture gets passed down. And although we question it, we get stuck with our paradigms. We get stuck with our way of seeing things. And I think most people that I've spoken to about relationships still hold a very, and I hesitate because I don't know that I'm using the words 100% correctly here, but a very Christianized, romantic, two-pairing, marriage-focused, potentially God-level experience of love, when there's probably a lot of different ways to experience love, and I don't know that we're all meant to experience it in this specific way, or that we would all be happy experiencing it in this way. So, I think I'm going to leave it there because I've already been speaking a lot. But I think this gives you an idea of what's on my mind, and what I've been thinking about. I would love to continue to have a deeper discussion about this. But other than that, I've been thinking about my personal struggles with finance. I have changed jobs a few times this year. for the better. I made deliberate decisions this year to leave jobs that were making me completely miserable and choose to join jobs that were making me feel better. And I had the freedom to do that potentially because of coronavirus and all the disruption that that has caused. Um, but since I had that freedom, I took advantage of that freedom. And, I live most of my life at work or commuting to work. So I chose to do that. And it's been working out pretty well so far. I am very far from my financial goals, and it's very depressing, and it makes me very frustrated. And I feel in many ways trapped and restricted. And like I don't have freedom, which affects the idea of love and relationships in my life, because it feels like something I have to put on hold and I just can't do right now. And it also feels like I have other things that I have to put off because of the financial thing. So the financial thing is my focus right now. And educating myself about finances and, just doing the damn best that I can. I used to be a person who was very focused on other people and trying to like kind of take care of the people around me and manage things around me. And maybe that's part of where this whole idea of getting on YouTube and talking to people came from in the first place. I don't know. I think some of that has fallen away as I've matured, and I don't feel like other people, I need to be so involved in how they live their lives. And like I don't feel like I need to catch people or take care of people in any way, or be a shoulder to cry on, or feel for other people. I think a lot of that has gone away, because I think for me in my life, that has proven to be a negative and hurt myself and hurt the people around me. So lessons learned. Here I am today, and I'm focused on myself and keeping my mental health afloat and dealing with what I find to be very difficult challenges and mountains in my life to climb. But I'm here. I'm still moving forward. And while I move forward and while I do have the freedom here and there to think about things, I'm wondering about very big questions. Not just about love, about other things, but love captivates me for whatever reason. Love seems to be mysterious to a lot of people, myself included, but we don't really seem to be confused about hate, for example, or confused about sadness or something. Like most of us don't find mystery in sadness or mystery in anger, but love seems to be one of those things that's confusing, and it's confusing to me too. Oh, before I go, because I'm dumb, I put this book right next to me because I wanted to share it, because I am almost done with it. I'm on the last chapter. But I have found this book to be incredibly fascinating, very easy to read, very quick to read. And I don't know, if you're a nerd like me and you're interested in this kind of thing, I just wanted to recommend it. So here it is. It's called Venus and Aphrodite. Let's see, is it showing up on the camera? There's a delay for me. It is by Bethany Hughes. Okay, yes, it's showing up very clear on the camera. That makes me happy. Okay, so it's called Venus and Aphrodite, and it's literally about the origins of Venus and Aphrodite. Which, when I always thought about Venus and Aphrodite, I always thought, Greek god of love, and I was very naive, actually. I thought that Aphrodite was like, just kind of like meddling and making people fall in love. And I didn't realize that she was quite a bitch. And she was very conniving and jealous and made a mess of things quite often. And I thought that in itself was very interesting, but I didn't realize that there is a whole history leading up to the birth of Aphrodite in Greek culture, and then subsequently Venus. And I didn't understand the historical context of everything and how civilizations evolved, and Aphrodite evolved along with those civilizations, and Aphrodite still exists in some ways today. And I just thought it was incredibly fascinating. It's something I will definitely talk more about in the future. And I do feel like it has informed me better about this idea of love and what it means. But like I said, I'm still questioning things a lot. So I hesitate to give any conclusions about anything, but I am curious about what other people think about love, what people think about relationships, um, people from different cultures, especially. I work somewhere where I'm exposed to people from all kinds of different cultures, and I don't usually have the time to have conversations with them, but I'm very interested in knowing what people worldwide think about this idea of love and relationships, because we all have our own cultural stuff that we carry with us that has been passed down for centuries now, and I just find it fascinating the way that humanity has creatively come up with these ideas about how people relate to each other. Um, all right, so it's been a while that I've been talking, and it feels good to have talked. So thank you to anybody out there who is listening. I do see some people in the chat, so hello to all of you if you're still with me. To anybody who's going to comment later, thank you as well. I do try to go through comments now on my latest videos at least, and respond to some of you. But yeah, hopefully YouTube will get its crap together and I'll get my live streaming ability. Maybe I'll live stream on my other channel tomorrow. I'm not sure. It says 24 hours, but I've heard stories about it taking longer or shorter. You know how it is. This is the world we live in. But thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to go relax. I do have the day off tomorrow. Thank the Lord. So I have a lot to do as well, but I'm taking each day as I can. I hope you're doing the same. I hope you're doing well. I know the holidays are coming and they're already here for many of us. So I hope that although they are very stressful, you know, for myself and probably many others included, that we get through this together and we'll be fine on the other side. So thank you again for listening to anything I have to say. I appreciate that. And I'll see you soon, I guess. Hopefully on the other channel. See you there. Bye, guys.